welcome to the Blueprint and welcome to my special guest today, Bellyman. Thank you very much for coming down.
No worries, bro.
We were just talking off camera. He's freezing cold at the moment, so he's trying to warm up with a cup of tea.
Give this a share.
And our Thames Delta family don't miss a trick because they've even got their own cup mug. That's what we were saying. Welcome to the Blueprint. I'm a huge fan of yours. I do watch the bar live,
the car bars.
I love it, yeah, because it's just so sporadic, and then you lot are just shelling in the car. So we'll come to that. I want to give everybody a little bit of history before we go into your history, how we met. So originally, we were on Origin, and that we were actually on before they moved to Black Horse Road. They was a bit further down in that tower block.
That's right. Yeah. I don't think it's there anymore. I think it's been knocked down.
Really?
Yeah. I think.
So was you there when it was the tower block?
Yeah. Right. When they had all the dogs guarding it.
Bare dogs in the block, and not no small dog, like some big. Massive. It was a mastiff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I used to get para, but he just used to walk around.
Yeah, I was the same. I used to get a bit para.
And then our paths crossed when we obviously you were doing some work with Nikki. We played on a few shows together, and then we both started to do things on Origin. And then, whilst we were just doing the internet but not actually doing the Facebook Live, because you introduced me to that, and you came up to set one of my shows up because I'd seen what you that you would...
I think the first one we done was with Kenny.
I think it was.
I think it was me, you and Kenny that done the first one.
So we did the very first stream on there, and you come with your little gadgets and your
I think it was my phone at the time, wasn't it? I had all my little bits and pieces with me.
So he'd turn up, and I'd be looking at him and he'd be like, Ray, you connect this to this, and then he'd have his phone, and then he'd have the audio going into the back, because these are new times. This is pre, like,
the little iRig we had and the little wires going into the mix.
Exactly. And then suddenly we would bust, and then we were doing that for a little while, and I got a big up Origin for giving us that platform, because obviously we've gone off to do different things, and at that time I went off to Radar, you went off, and I think you set up that the car bars thing. You weren't quite doing. No, you hadn't done that yet.
No. I think the first car bars that we did, you know what? It's funny enough. The car bars was a complete accident. I was having to do a recording, and I was out with my mum. I was doing a bit of shopping. I had to take her do a bit of shopping. And I remember exactly where it was where I was doing it, and it was Westway, West London. And she's gone there doing a bit of shopping, she's taking ages, and I'm all eager for her to go. I thought, you know what, let me just practice this in there. I put the phone on the dash cam, press record, recorded it up, done whatever I was doing at the time, watched back, I thought, this looks all right, you know, and it sounds all right for like, and at this time we're going back to 2014. And I was like, this ain't that bad. I was like, I wonder if I upload this, how this would do you know what I mean? Give it a little go. So uploaded it, the thing just shot off. I was like, this is all right, man. Let me just done another one. Next year I thought, right, I'm going to do a little series of these. And I done it, and it done really good. And I was shocked by it. And next thing I seen other heads on the internet, they started doing another sort of little similar thing. And then I see Decoy's got in the car now, and he's done the same sort of thing, and it was popping off, and I thought, there's something here. But at that stage there, I didn't actually get the complete concept of it. It was just me getting in the car, like I said, random bars, trying to spit a few bars, get a few hits and that. And it was then, a little bit later on, me and Decoy linked up. And we was doing a mix. It was me, Kesman and Decoy putting this mix out, D&B Volume 1. And I said to Decoy, I remember when we was back, like, going back a couple of years now. I think it was about 2015, late 2015. And I said, I remember, D, I says, you come doing your car, but I said, let's both get in the car together. Yeah? Promote this mix, put the mix in the link, and let's see how it does anyway. So next thing he's like, I don't know, Belly, will it be a bit cheesy? Will it be? So he didn't want to do it. I could hear in his voice. Decoy's not the guy in the head that'd be like, no, I'm not. He's like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm a bit busy today. So I was like, D, you gotta come today. We're doing this for the promo. So he's like, all right, I'll come down. So it's outside Origin. That's why I used to record him, you know, in that little bit of car.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just outside of Origin, yeah? And so he's come down anyway, and we've recorded it, and I watched it, and I just knew, just as I watched it, I thought,
this is gonna pop.
that we got something. It's almost like my boy's EP. Just as before we was talking, I'm listening to it on the way, and I just now already I know it's gonna pop. When something's good, it's good. Yeah, and that's what I got. I looked at it, I was like, do you know there's something? Put it on there. Within 3 days, we've got 500,000 views on it. For drum and bass, that's good numbers.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was wicked.
Of course.
Yeah, it was like, what? Like, you know, on the other little videos we've got 5,000, 10,000, maybe 15,000. We was like, yes, we're in there. Do you know what I mean? 500,000 hits. The mix popped off. You know, it was a good time. It was nice because I kind of feel like that was a point of where things started to really start lifting for me as an artist. You know, people started taking a lot more notice of me, more serious. You know what I mean? It was one of them things where the Bellyman show was great, but there was something about these car bars. I can't put it in stone because I've done loads in the past, and some of them are wicked, some of them are not so good. So I can't tell exactly. It has to be good, but there's something there. People.
Well, sometimes it's just about the moments and
Yeah.
a little bit like Blueprint. You know, someone comes in, it's unexpected, it's honest, and it's not. You're not practicing 20 times to put it out. If there's a mistake, you're laughing, you're joking, you're having a laugh basically. Because
Correct.
we've had to reinvent ourselves a good few times.
Yeah.
And you've only just come in the game, really like. I mean, we're going to go back into the history, but I wanted to show the connection, even though you don't see us on maybe some of the same shows. I mean, we've done loads of shows together pre-COVID and before that, because we were doing all those warehouse parties together, and then everybody kind of goes in their separate ways. But if you've just joined us, this is the Blueprint. Our very special guest today is Bellyman, warming up with a cup of tea. I'm so gassed to actually have him on the show because I wanted to personally say thank you because I'm a silver surfer. When I went to Radar, they looked at me as like, because I didn't know anything. Do you know what I mean? Like when it came to the internet, and I was like, you know, when you're just fighting it down, like me and Nikki were like, no, we got to play records, and we were the last lot to play records until our backs nearly gave out, and I think I went to one show, Belly, and I was so gutted because every bloody tune jumped, and I was like, I can't perform like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I thought, you know what? Let me just try this little CD thing, and now man's walking with a 2 terabyte hard drive, and that's me all day long. Serato's not really for me because for me, sometimes it drops down the volume and it's a lot of wiring in. But some people are used to it. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I just plug in my hard drive, and that just shows you how we've had to adapt. So let's go back to the very beginning. I want to talk about your son as well, because all our children are growing up. I mean, they grew up through the 90s, obviously, being jungle, kids of jungle and kids of D&B. But I wanted to take it right back to where you started, like when you were growing up. What were you listening to?
I'll tell you what, I have very fond memories of being a youngster. Music, was a big thing to me as a younger. It was to all of us growing up. You know, you had your telly and your 4 channels or whatever it was, and then coming up through the late 80s, I'd say it was my brother's influence. Coming back with the old tapes, the Acid House tapes, and coming in Mr. Cook, and I was born 1980 now, so you think I'm 8 years old at this stage. And he's coming back playing these tapes, and I'm ears are pinging up at this stage. Well, what's this? Do you know what I mean? At 8 years of age, I know it's mad, but they're my first sort of memories. Coming downstairs, like everyone's up in bed, putting the tapes in place. Yeah, you know what I mean? There's something about this, and then it was the Sesame Street tunes, and like Ragga Tip and Rat Pack. Rat Pack, I got a big up Rat Pack. Because Rat Pack for me is probably the first MC DJ combo that I remember.
Bigging up Everson Allen and bigging up Lipmaster Mark, because they've been around for years. We
100%, 100%.
Them man now, they were. I remember them 88, 89 when I was just a young youth coming through the ranks of the Crazy Club, and they were already headlining.
Yeah.
you know, with the Jaff Cake thing, and they went to #1, didn't they?
They did. That's the thing. That's what I mean. Them fond memories of at that stage there, they were breaking boundaries. You know, they were doing things. I even remember like when General Levy come through. You know what I mean? There was people at that time there. People forget now, and they were making big moves for the scene. And I remember coming through. It must have been.
So what were you then? 14?
Yes. So I'd say from the time it would have been 92, 93 that I remember that tape pack, that Fantasia. It was a New Year's Eve thing with Rat Pack. And I knew every word, I knew every break, I knew, you know what I mean? One of them tapes that ended up wearing itself out. And then from that, it was, I remember going into school, say let's go into high school. I've come from middle school into high school and we've all got our Walkmans on. And I remember Ben Elgin. Yeah, you remember the Walkmans? You remember the big fluffy ears and you going around. And it was, I remember Ben, there was this one moment, I used to go Wiseman in Greenford. And there's this one time he's like, yeah, check this tune. And he's passed me over the headphones. And big up Andy C, it was 31 seconds. So we're talking 93 now. That's how the tunes make a point in time of when it is.
Of course.
So I know we're in 93 and he's like, this tuber, and we're all around each other, we're all smoking out. And you know what it's like, we're all having a smoke and listening to this. And it's like, all right, come round the house. And we'd be going around, you know, seeing each other, going having a puff. And that was what it was. It was the music. It was the joy. At that time, Set Speed, all them tunes, I'd be going up. We'd be flying. Wouldn't be getting records really before then. We'd be going up to Your Shop and Nicky, you know, just getting the flyers, collecting all the flyers, all the banging flyers and that. And the thing was that I remember going out and buying my first record. I remember coming in. I don't know, was you working? You must have been. You was there from the early days.
Yeah. I was there for 19
Because I remember who sold it to me. It was Clarky. I remember coming in and out of the shop. And I was like, can I have a listen to that one, please, mister? You know, one of them ones.
How old was you?
I was 13, 93. Yeah. So that's what I say. The records are so important in my life because they give me time frames. You know, one of them things. So that tune, I remember the tune. I still got that tune actually that I bought today. It was the Twilight Zone. You remember the Twilight Zone? Kickman Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1993. It was £5. But I remember just Nicky. It went up to £5.50, and I was like, it's £5.50. You know what I mean? You're like, where's that? Come, it's gone up. And that's how it was with the tunes, and it's just little silly things you sort of remember as you go. So from there, already now I'm buying records. I ain't got decks. I ain't got anything like that. But I'm locked.
You're drawing reference to tunes.
Yeah. I'll get a little £5 or so. I'm going up to the shop. I'm going out. We're getting flyers and next thing, I remember I must have been about just coming on 15, sort of early like that. Back up to Nicky's shop again. We've gone in there. I'll actually tell a lie. It wasn't Nicky's shop. It was Mash. It was
Frost and Brian used to work down there.
That's it. It was Brian. Big up Brian.
And there was another geezer called Steve. Steve something. Steve. Oh, it'll come back to me.
Because I remember they used to have all the Kangol hats and everything downstairs.
Yeah. So you used to go downstairs and there's bare clothes, and then right at the back there'd just be this little window.
And you'd have Brian at the back.
You'd be serving your lunch out. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then they'd have the records stacked on the side of it, and then he'd just be playing records.
That was it.
Oxford Street.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just come out of the station, do it right. It was just a going there down the stairs, down the back. We knew them all. We was in there flyering, getting all the little spots. And it was then, at that stage, just coming up to about 15, something like that. And I got my first tape pack, which was Dreamscape. It was the red cover. Was it Dreamscape 8 or so? So the red Dreamscape, you know, the face coming out of it. Legendary thing. And that was it. That was I was involved, you know what I mean? We was listening to the radios, double taping the tapes, you know what I mean? And listening to all you lot, and yeah, man. By the time I got to,
so let's get this right. So at this point, you haven't spit any bars at all.
No bars, no.
At all.
All I'm doing is imitating everybody I'm listening to. So if I'm listening to tapes, at this stage, when it gets to, I'd say 96, 97, now I'm listening to Stevie. Yeah, I'm listening 95, 96, Stevie's the man. I'm there, actually, I think the first rave I went to was 95. You got to think now, I'm 15, but it's back in Labyrinth. I'm going back to 12 Dalston Lane. We're down at Dalston, I'm standing in the queue like, head down and all that. But straight through the doors.
Big up Billy Bunter, yeah.
But that's where my life started, 1995. Yeah. The other 15 years before that, you know, it was just a learning curve. Now all of a sudden, 15 years, it's like, bang, Labyrinth. Whoa, all these birds, you know, it was the music was something else. So once I was introduced to the rave scene and that was it. My life completely changed from that point on. Then I'm listening to Stevie, I'm listening to Skibber, I'm listening to Det, I'm listening to all these heads coming, absolutely smashing it. Them boys are still at the forefront today. We're talking the same heads.
Skipper, Shepard.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. Just
but all the foundation, man. Just like all the foundation DJs,
yep.
If you want to be here,
big salute, man. Big salute
we
to all
still
of
keep
them.
going because we love what it's for the love of it now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got a big up Skibbity saying that because I heard you say earlier on you was like we have to reinvent ourselves. I've seen Skibbity do that so many different times on paths, and I have to, like I say, give big ups to people that deserve it. We're saying 100%. It there. And that guy has managed to stay in the scene and at the top of the forefront from the time that I can remember, from he's been brought in. I remember him saying one day it was Stevie that used to give him the mic and bring him in. And, you know, for a legend like that, you know, you have to just pay respects, man. Them guys 100%. There.
And those days, those beautiful golden days where a man would bring a next man in and see a you on the side and give him his little chance, as we did, you know, like Mampy, Kane, like Profile, Ash Attack, like as you see them man on the it's like come in, bruv, just come in,
yeah,
just
your
come
time.
in,
it's your time.
jump on the team. What now, bruv? And they're like, what? But they feel under pressure. But what I'm saying to you is, those doors that we opened for many a people, they went on to do great things because everyone's got their own style, their own stuff. But what I wanted to say was, so as we're in this exciting moment, it's 1995. You're in the dances. You're 15/16. 16.
Yeah. The best times of my life right now.
Right. And was you listening, or did you have any influence of hip hop at all at that moment?
Right. Okay. I'll tell you what I was doing at that stage right there. I was listening to everything. Yeah, so I'd go home, my mum would be listening to her music, whether it be Dolly Parton, you know, all them kind of tunes. She's Irish influence, and then I'd be listening to the radio. Then you got my brother with the rave side of things. Do you know what I mean? It's all different music. I'm going up with everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
everything. So there was no specific music that I was listening to growing up. It was a bit of everything, top of the pops. You know, we all kind of... You know what it was.
You kind of switched from indie, whatever, Coldplay, Blur and all of the rest of it, because simultaneously, when you're on the underground scene, there's always an overground scene that you're still paying attention to because that's what your family are talking about.
Yes. Now, funny enough, you say it, going back there, my first ever record that I ever bought, that was the first rave tune I feel from Nicky's Shot. But the first records I remember buying on my way, I was about 11 years old and it was Black Box. You remember that?
Right on Time.
Right on Time. Yeah. That's the one. So them kind of tunes there, they were a little bit before, you know what I mean? And
that was kind of like the end of the rave. Well, that was Right on Time. That was 88, 89.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is, even though that house music was underground, it had that crossover where the majors were signing it.
Yeah.
I mean, put it this way, when I was growing up, I think one of the first 12s 7 inches from Woolworths was Message in a Bottle by Police.
Yeah.
So when I used to listen to the commercial pop, and then I was like, some of the tunes I was feeling, because I was like, it was connecting electronically.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some of the 80s pop, like Duran, or it might be Gary Newman Cars, and I'd be like, how did they get that sound to sound like that?
Yeah.
That analog was kind of calling me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's go back. You're in Labyrinth. That's your first rave. Who was playing?
Right, okay, so I would be lying if I remember who was playing. I was just...
In the moment.
And I remember I went with it. It's me, Ricky, Colin. Big up Ricky, big up Colin. And we've got in there. And it was just... Like I say, you can't forget that moment. The lasers. Do you remember the big gates they used to have the back at there?
Yeah.
I walked in and I was like... What is this place? Like, you remember things were different back then. You know what I mean? We'd go out in there and there'd be the gardens all outside and stuff. Everyone's out there blazing. They're doing their thing, minding their own business. Yes, what you saying, bruv? Can I be your water? It was a different story. It was different back then. And I remember, like, it was Paradise Club. Then it was like, okay, where else are we going? Then it was the bigger arenas. Then we was going to London Dots. We was going
You go Peckham, Laser Drum?
Yeah, we went Laser Drum. Oi, Laser Drum. Laser Drum.
But when you got in there, everybody was cool.
It was.
It had that kind of it was an all-black club,
Man,
but when you was in the dance, there was nothing but love.
listen, I was lucky. See, when I grew up, I was in a place where I had family all over the place. I had family in Ireland, South, West, North London. But so when I was growing up as a youth, I'd be going out to all these different ends, and I'd be mates with everyone. So it wasn't like these days you got them postcode wars, this, but because I had cousins here, I had family there, I was just accepted.
And people were just wanting to go out, have a good time, rave, smoke a spliff, and dance.
Exactly, but in going to that Peckham, I remember that time, right? What happened? I remember the first time I've gone there, I was going with CJM. I used to do a show back on Life FM, me and CJM for years. We grew up together back in Norfolk. And his dad used to run the door. He was the head doorman at Laserdrome. So anyway, you probably know him yourself. Anyway, so we've got in there, and I remember going in there this night. Yeah, Nicky's on the main floor. You remember, like,
Yeah.
as you sort of walk in, Nicky's like smiling up, like, and I've gone in there, and I must have been the only white bray in there, bro. I tell you, me and Nicky DJ, and I was like, raw, like, am I gonna be alright in here? Man, let me tell you something. The laser quiz, I had one of the best nights of my life. That first night, I remember going back, I was VIP, like, you know, the VIP treatment. His dad run the door, so we got the back behind the booth. We're in the back, we're blazing it out. Mate, like I say, one of the best nights of my life. I remember that same way. I just remember that shookness.
Yeah, I think when you go back to 93, 94, 95, because don't forget, everyone was changing really rapidly. Like by 92, they were already calling 89 old school.
Yeah.
By 94, it
yeah.
was like, yeah, that's hardcore, bruv,
Yeah.
92. This is jungle. But there weren't that many places where black people could go and feel comfortable. One of them was Laserdrome. The other one of them was Telepathy.
Yeah.
And those were places that people could go, they could dress how they wanted to dress. There was a form of culture and identity. And even Paradise Club. But that was more multicultural. And even when you went to certain places. But don't forget, when we were going up north, there wasn't anything for black culture. Do you see what I'm saying? So when we was going like Liverpool, Manchester, I mean, I remember going certain places and you hear the tape, you know, stop letting off the shots, because it's ricocheting.
People can't imagine that, can they?
Exactly. Because I remember going to Manchester, there's one red light, like bulb in the room. No lights, no lasers, no nothing. Heavy sound system, and it's bare dark. Man's got a torch in his mouth, so you got to put the dub plate on play.
Everyone's pockets are getting reefed.
and there's 2,000 people in the dance, and they're going crazy. Well, all you can hear is air horns, whistles, and rewinds. So what is the point in that time between being 15, 16 that you would pick up the mic? Would have been Life FM?
Well, I'll tell you how it started for me with the mic. It's a funny old one now, because you're going back, like I say, I've gone through labyrinths now. I've started going around checking each club out, going from club to club to club, loads of different clubs. You know, we start going out on the Tuesday, the Wednesday. You know what it was like? Sunday, we're down at Herbal. Anytime we can get out, we're going out. We're doing what we can. And then I remember, it's quite a thing. I remember around Stevie sort of passing then, give it about a year later, I think it was about, maybe late 98, maybe that sort of time, that the garage started coming through. So I'm a junglist now. You gotta think we're out, we're doing the junglist show. And like, you know, this garage sound's coming through. I don't know, I think it was about 98-ish, latest, that sort of time. And everyone's pushing this garage. The garage is coming through the garage. And I've sort of jumped on board with it. I'm listening to what's happening in the minute in the scene and the drum bass, and I'm like, all right, I'm kind of feeling a little something with this garage and that.
Heartless Crew.
Yeah, this is it. It was that time. It was like, you know, so the next thing, my old girl, she's, for my birthday, big her up, she probably locked on now, she bought me a set of 1210s. So before this...
So your mum bought them for you?
She bought them for me.
Come on.
What a result! Yeah, that was it.
How old was you?
It was for my 18th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll tell you
Big
what
up mums.
Yeah, you know that. Big up my mum now. She didn't like me playing them, mind you, but... she didn't like electric switch off downstairs and all that. I'll be calling you for your dinner. But up until then, so there's there few years of me trying to learn to DJ at this stage between 95 and I've gone in the raves and I'm like, that's it, that's how I'm gonna be a DJ now, you know what I mean? I'm going to all the raves and start getting the sound labs. It was the sound lab, DLP, whatever they were, belt drives and all that. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna learn to mix. I can't mix for shit. I can't mix nothing. I don't get it. I'm trying to get everyone to show. 16, I moved on to the DLP, whatever's they are now. We're on the direct drive sound labs. Still no good. Mum goes and gets them for me for the techniques now. And I remember it well. Like I remember Burby coming round and he's like, look. I know you're trying and you keep trying. This is what you got to do. And I remember the 2 tunes as well. So this will show you the dates. Again, it's good for dates. Yeah. Was Warhead and The Trouble. It was both V records. Warhead, the original. I'm sitting there. They both got basically the same beats. Yeah, the same sort of beats. Next thing he's mixing the pitch. Just clicked. Got it. That was it. So I was in with the mixes. Started going out, doing that, collecting all the records. I'm jungle collecting. I'm up and down to you. You're spreading the love for the vinyl all over the world. Don't worry about all that new CDJ crap.
We were. I'll tell you an instance. It all changed when Ed Rush and Optical. It was Optical that turned up to Bar Rumba where we was resident. Me, my memory's getting terrible, bruv. Rough Stuff. Rough Stuff was resident.
Yeah, big up Rough Stuff, man.
Brian Frost, Darrison and Moose. We were the residents. And I remember him turning up with this CDJ, and he plugged the CDJ into one of the what do you call it? One of the lines, and then so he was playing vinyl, but then he was going back to CD. So obviously that was the first time that I saw this thing, and then within 3 months there were CDJs in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So anyway, sorry to interrupt you. Just that timeline just sparked me off to that. So you've got your decks. You're 18 years old. You've learned how to mix 2 tunes.
So now that's it. I've learned how to mix 2 tunes. Give it, I reckon, 4 months of me knowing how to do it. Right? Greenie walks in. Big up Greenie. And he's like, yeah, you sounding all right, man. You sounding all right. Give me a little boost and all that. I'm thinking, yeah, okay.
Who's Greenie?
Greenie's one of my pals from back in the ends. He's not in the scene, right? He's one of my pals. And next thing anyway, he's like, yeah, man, you're sounding good. And he's coming in. At this time, I'm thinking, I'm smashing it on the decks now. You know what I mean? I'm giving it so like, Greenie's like, what? I'm like, wow, Greenie's a fucking sick DJ. I must be doing all right here and all that. Next thing he's like, do you want to sit on Live FM? And I'm like, huh? He's gone, yeah, man, Paul Rosen, who is he? He's got Breachy, rest in peace, R.I.P. Breachy. He's gone, they're setting up a new station down in Hanwell, Life FM. Get in there while they sit, you know. I was like, man, I don't feel I'm good enough. I really don't feel I'm good enough. And this is, like I said, this is that change of where it's going from. I'm mixing jungle. I've just learnt with jungle and all that. But it's going into a garage thing. This is becoming a garage station. So for me to get involved in this, I've got to make that choice of, am I going to mix the garage? Yeah? So I'm like, you know what? 18 years old, opportunity to be on a radio station, you know what I mean? DJ and all that. I've got in, man. I've started going out. I've got all the garage. I'm going down to Cage Records, but started getting involved. That was it. But
what was your name then?
DJ Tomo. I'm actually done all right because I tell you what, at that stage, I look back at that now, DJ Tomo.
And how did that name come about?
It was just my name. My name was Tommy, Tomo Short. It was just no thought in it. It was DJ Tomo.
That'll do. Yeah, I'll play that next week.
Everyone used to call me Tomo at the time. I was like, yeah, DJ Tomo. Yeah, that'll do. So for a few years, I think it was from 98, I was on Life FM. Give it till about 2000 now as a garage DJ. Like, don't worry about my DJ career because I don't feel... At that time, what happened was I actually done all right. We started up. Now, this is when my shop come about because big up Steve, big up Bevis. They started up a shop which was Dirty Fat Beats on Uxbridge Road, just beside the Heath Tavern, just as you're going into Uxbridge. And it fell on my feet. I was, I'd say, about 19, like I say, same sort of time there. late 98, 99, they said, look, we can give you a job if you want to run the shop for us. And I was like, run the fucking shop. You know what it's like. You're part of the shop. You're part of the firm. I was like, yeah, man. I grabbed it with two hands. I've got into the shop anyway. I started doing really good, had good relations with the customers and that. Started doing all right. But I was in a bit of a bad place because you got to think 98, 99, 2000, 2001, records were really declining. Yeah. So it was like I was trying to build something that was just never going to happen. So I was going there, I'm doing what we're doing. I said to Steve and the boys, I said, why don't we try and put a studio out back? You know what I mean? If we put studio out back, move with the times, maybe we get the money from the studio, blah, blah, blah. Which we did. We ended up building an analog studio, the old bass stations, the old called Trinities. And, you know, we done all right. We put a little thing, put my first tune out as Tomo, Scarface tune, done about 1,500 copies because we had the shop front as well. At that time, it was big piece for me. I was selling tunes, the vinyl was making me chill. I was like, right, another 500, get me back on. You know what I mean? We had Terry coming around, all boys. So I was like, yeah, I'm making tunes now, doing a bit. And it just from there, it just went to grime. It started changing, the scene started evolving. And yeah, I fell out of love with it a little bit. It changed, and I just went back to the drums again. Started listening back to the drum and bass. Went back out drum and bass raving again.
What year was that?
Must have been about 2002, because I remember all that body rock and all that sort of thing was out, and I wasn't really feeling. There were certain tunes, and it was a sort of little time.
So
where
that was a good time for the end.
It was a good time.
We were doing the black market parties.
Yeah, it was that. It was all, like I said, it was that sort of time.
There was a big crossover and changeover at that time.
Yes.
But there was still no Bellyman by then.
No, there was no Bellyman.
We're coming to that.
Right, yeah, we're getting there. So it comes anyway. Like I said, going back to the rave, and I'm going out now. I get married 2003, 2004. I'm out and partying, having the time of my life. 2005. I think it's 2004, 2005, we're listening, we're partying, and I hear this set with Hazard and X-Man. Yeah? Hazard, X-Man, I think it was Battle of the MCs, and it's got Herbsy, but it was X-Man that stood out on that. Don't get me, everyone's smashing on a thing, but I just remember listening and thinking, this guy is just sick. Like, something drew me to him. I just thought, mate, I don't know what it is, but I want to try and write a few bars. That guy's got me inspired, yeah? And that was it.
And you've never done anything?
Up until that point, it was me, if I was MCing or trying to do anything like that, it was me imitating your other MCs, doing a bit, singing along to the bar. Yeah, but you know what it's like as artists. And up until that point there, I wasn't an MC. So 2005 is then I'm starting to get my pad out. I'm writing down, I'm writing. Oh, crap. But I'm writing.
Yeah, but listen, if you heard some of our first tunes,
this is what I'm saying.
Ryder always teases me about some tune I sampled, and it sounded so rubbish. It was so rubbish. And when I was in the studio, the loop was out. No, I don't even know what I was thinking. But them things there, they never come out public. But it's the people that know you that listen to you because sometimes you try and run before you can walk, innit?
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little bit of what you were saying. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to go with this. Yeah. Because you're trying to catch something, but you're not quite catching it, and you're kind of doing a half-hearted job because you know it's not really your fulfillment, but you're just going with the flow because you know at some point something's going to open where you're going to... It's almost like learning on the job.
Yeah, it is, It is.
So at that point, you heard X-Man.
Heard X-Man, and...
See, I call him... It's X-Man, isn't it?
Do you know what?
I always call him X-Man.
X-Man?
Yeah.
X-Man, yeah, I think that's his name, X-Man, yeah, I think.
Okay.
Because I think if the story goes right, not this, my thing, but I think his name originally was Ecstasy Man, and he shortened it down to X-Man because it just, the reference, and that's how I think the story come of X's name. Like I said, I listened to that set, and I was just so inspired, it's made me who I am today, and I've often thanked him for that, because X is a big part of why I do what I do, do you know what I mean? And he's a really good geezer as well, you know, he's done a lot for the scene, so I have to big up X. And big up Royal Remark as well, big up the crew, man. I think like from 2000 then moving on, I think 2006, from 2005 to 2006 now, I've linked up with DJ Raven and Daff. They're doing little bits for Dramatics. Jack, you know Jack.
I know Jack, yeah.
Right?
How is he?
Yeah, Jack is good.
Is he
man.
alright?
Yeah, Jack is good.
Spoken to him for years.
Yeah, I spoke to Jack.
I need to get him on the show, actually.
Yeah, no,
because
Jack is a good guy, man.
He's a unsung hero for the scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
he's done a lot of work,
early
man.
days, he was putting on a lot of parties, losing a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
But putting man on the map.
He was trying his best, yeah, and people don't realise that it's just another gig, it's just another this, but
But he's doing production now.
yeah. Yeah.
And I got a couple of bootleg remixes that he done, and I heard I've got a couple of other things a little while ago. Some jungle things. I mean, his production's banging. It's on point.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, if that's the Dramatics that I'm thinking of, and it's the same guy.
Yeah, Jack. You know, no, it's definitely Jack. You're definitely talking about the same.
Yeah. Because Jack used to do parties, but I don't know if it's the same Dramatics if he's doing the production as well.
Yeah, no, maybe that's a different guy because Jack would have told me that. Maybe that's.
But I worked
maybe.
for him in.
No, you definitely know Jack because we've been at the same parties.
We've done parties together.
But I'm saying, I think, maybe who you're talking about is.
Oh, with someone else.
Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so because he would have definitely told me, man. He was asking me for years to come around and do bits and pieces, and I would have known that. I think. Anyway, we'll see what about that one. But 2007 now, 2006, Jack. He's checking us on radio. The boys have got me coming down. It was some radio in it was one of them fridges, but it was on a campsite. Not a campsite. What do you call it? Like a building site. Sorry.
In London.
Yeah, in London. It was just up in Denham. And you go into this building site, it was about 6 in the evening, we go into it, and it was all right sound, all the soundproofing, and I can't remember what the name of the radio was. Actually, it was with Vega D as well, rest in peace, Vega. He just passed away not so long ago as well. I used to do it with him. Who else did I used to go down there as well? Foundation, going back there for them days. It was where I was just learning the craft. It was from about, let us say, 2005 to 2007. It's bad, I can't remember the station, man. I'm sorry if you're watching, I can't remember the name of it.
Who give you the mic? Name a couple of people that actually you might have been around, hanging about on stage, or not booked necessarily, or you were booked but you got a little blyer and man just passed you the mic and said, yeah, come on the mic with me.
Who can I say did that for me? Who can I say? As you're talking about the man in the scene, I'm going to be really honest with you, man. The man in the scene darked me off for a long time, bruv.
But you had to earn your stripes.
Listen, I had to earn my stripes, but believe me, I earned them.
Good.
Before I got any love.
But then no one can say nothing to you because...
No one can say nothing to me, Ray.
But that's the good thing, like people like yourself, people like Darrison, people like... for a long time when you're breaking through, everyone's watching. It's the same as DJing, blood. It's this new cat? Okay, let him circle, see how he's doing, because a lot of people come in and they run away, or they last 5 minutes, and it's about, especially when you've been part of something, and you feel so passionate about it, and then you want to kick the doors open, and then when those doors are open, then the world is your oyster. Yeah. Because that's when you see all the links coming in, and then suddenly a man will say to you, boy, I've been watching you for a minute, you sound bad,
that's it.
Come, and then you start doing some stuff together. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think that's more a lot of what it is, but, I kind of look at things in this day and age of how it's very... not fast tracks, but it's a lot quicker. Things happen a lot faster.
You don't earn your stripes. If you've just joined us, we're having a conversation with a one and only Bellyman, original legend in the game. I love it when we've done sets together, and I like your energy. And just speaking to you, you just see how passionate. Because this thing that we do, sometimes you're not paying your mortgage because you ain't got. Because that bill's come in, and but you got that gig, and then you got cancelled, and to be fair, I love your honesty, like you were saying about they gave you a hard time, you had to earn your stripes, and not only that, this is a business that you want to give up before you've even started sometimes because everything's against you.
I'll tell you one thing, right? There's the good and bad to a lot of things when it comes to just everyday life, but in the scene, try not to bring any negative to it, but sometimes you got to think to yourself, like in the start of the scene and the way it was, the old school mentality, I call it, the old school mentality, everything was under lock and key. Nobody wanted anybody to know anything. Nobody was bringing anything in. I remember saying to Nicky used to say to me when I was young and I go into the shop, I say, what have I got to do, Nick? What have I got? How do I? He'd say, keep everything tight. Keep everything. And I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? Like, just keep everything tight. He'd say, tight, keep everything tight. I'll be like, all right, Nick, yeah, cheers for your advice, do you know? That's one of them. But it's one of them things, it's like I said to Grant Epidemic the other day, if everybody was to have the mentality that we had, not I say we had because I wasn't really there at that stage, but the old school lot had of keeping everything under lock and key, and the world thought like that, there wouldn't be no buildings, there wouldn't be no cars, because it'd be everyone doing it for themselves. We have to learn the people what to do. We have to teach what to do. We have to pass the batons on, so to speak.
100%.
You know, it's like making tunes. Look at back in the day, you'd get a bass line, man wouldn't show you how to do nothing. Yeah, that's me. That's how I do my thing, and I get it to an extent. And I get.
But I think there was, and I'm not trying to defend it, but there was a lot more individuality there.
Of course there was, and it was a building process.
Exactly.
You didn't want anybody nicking your shit.
You hear me, or you hear Dillinger, or you hear Bookham, or you hear Fab, or you hear Groove. Now we're talking DJ producer. We're all DJs.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there was a time when man was just making tunes and we had this with Profile last week. He was like, then the producer would just give the tune to the artist, and then the artist would run the tune.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like I would just give my tunes to Fab, Groove, Frost, Brian, Ryder, Mickey. Kenny, Randall, those were my people that I gave the tune to, and then they would run the tune for me.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Nicky, when he come out of the white glove thing with the whistles, and then went to me one time in the shop, this jungle thing's alright, isn't it, Ray? I was like, what? You converted now, yeah? And overnight, white glove's gone, whistle gone, everything. It's like, yeah, I'm in this thing, yeah? And the next thing you know, he was representing Conga Natty.
Yeah.
And he had a good run with. He actually became their DJ because he was their test DJ.
That's what I remember all the time.
Don't you remember? Bear, and I grew
all
up
the tape
with them,
backs.
man.
That's all you'd hear.
Bear Conga Natty, because Nicky was like Nicky was coming like Mickey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Bear, ragga, reggae, and that was what the beautiful scene, what it's brought to us. But like you said, back then, you'd earned your stripes.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'll explain in the fact as well. I get it. I get why things are kept to. It's almost like a quality control in certain circumstances. Whereas, like, if you look at how things have gone today, there is no quality control because everything is out of control. There is no control on it whatsoever. So if you make a tune, you can go and put your tune out there. You ain't got to get it. Well, we take the tune, or we're not going to take the tune. Or do you understand what I'm saying? You want to put a video up, you can put it on your own profile. You don't need to go. It's so easy now. The internet, the way things are. It's like I said, I get the way things were back then, and I understand it. But there was a certain few players in the game, and I won't mention names, but there was a certain few players in the game that blocked a good few artists, including myself, for many years, and went literally out of their way. I had one artist in particular who went to my brand, who I was going to get my clothes and all that built, and to get my merchandise, made and that. And this, I'm talking big man in the game here, gone to my merch, people who do the clothes, to tell him, what are you doing this for Bellyman? If you carry on doing this, I don't want you making our merch, blah, blah, blah. And they're top of the game. And the guy's like, well, if that's the case, like, he's a customer the same as you. And I'm not going to big the guy up either because, like I said, I don't want to say names. But certain people will go out of their way to...
But that's just that. Listen, I get that. But at the same time, that makes you who you are today.
Correct, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Do you know how many doors have closed on me? Do you know how many men said no to me? And I'm still here. No, but there's no such word in my vocabulary as no. But I get that. And do you know what it does? It just makes me more hungry.
That's what's driven me. That's 100% what's driven me. Come on, that's it. That's it. Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, not everybody in life is going to like what you do or like you as a person. That's just a part of life. You just got to carry on with that. You can't dwell on them things. And I think a lot of the people who we look back on, there's a good few artists who ended up just throwing the towel in because they couldn't deal with that no more. They couldn't handle them doors being shut or understand why them people's attitude were like that against them.
But to tell you the truth, Tommy, no one teaches you that, like you said.
Yeah.
They don't teach you about the fame.
Yeah.
They don't teach you
Yeah.
about the money.
Yeah, it's
They
true.
don't teach you about the drugs. They don't teach you about being in control. And not unless you've got good people in your corner going, bruv, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's true.
You need to
It's
come
true.
back and get in line.
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
Yeah.
Where's your family? Because it can every weekend can be New Year's Eve, as we all well know. But what I'm saying to you is, when you get a grip of this business, and this is great to have an artist. Listen, if you've just joined us, it's the Blueprint. It's my good self and Bellyman. I've got a lot of respect for this brother because no one really knows the connections that people have, like you were a very huge influence. Again, thank you very much on my streaming because I went on to do some amazing things. I went to Radar. I got you up on there on the early days. I did 3 years. We won an award.
Man,
it was one of the best
really good,
radio shows.
Come on.
And you smashed it with your car bar, 1.5 million with Harry Shaw. So it's just nice to see people do good things. And where there's the love and the connection, there's always a way back because you just get involved, you do your life, you do what you're doing. Through lockdown, I think I spoke to you was it before lockdown or after lockdown? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was just before lockdown.
We just talked about a few things.
Yeah.
And just checking in and seeing how you are and just touching base. So now, tell us where the rising of Bellyman.
Okay. So we're about 2007 now. 2007, and I make a link up down at Life FM. I'm back down at Life now, and I'm walking out the door. This is in Hamwell, and I listen. Here's perk up, and I hear these DJs dropping bangers, and I'm hearing this MC shelling it down. Another one back to back. Let me have a look in here. So I open up the door, have a look in, and it's Rob Blaze and T-Light. These two guys absolutely smashing it down. And you got Frenzy and Guffy on the mic. I've come in, I've sat down on a chair for a little bit, listening to these lot vibing. Well, let me jump in, let me have a little vibe with these guys. Let me just, you know what I mean? It's life. I said, yeah, cool to jump. Yeah. Next thing, we smashed down the set. I was like, man, I really like what you lot were doing there, man. He's like, yeah, come up, join us another time and that. Anyway, after that, I think between 2007 to 2011, we formed up a little crew, which probably nobody knows about, except for the original followers there, which was called S Unit. Yeah? S Unit back in the day was me, Mosey B, Rob Blaze, T-Light, and that was it. Hold on, me, Mosey B, Rob Blaze, T-Light. Was there anyone I'm forgetting about? No, that was it. That was the four of us. So, sorry, and Frenzy. Sorry, the MC. How could I forget Frenzy? And that's it. We're going about. We're going to Amsterdam. We're getting booked.
But did you have a name by then?
Yeah, but no, Belly come about. I started MC Belly in 2005. That's when I was at a radio station. Right. That's when I started drum and bass. That's what I'm saying. Got in contact with Jack and Rave, and Belly come at 2005.
Bellyman or just Belly?
No, Belly. It was just MC Belly at that stage, yeah? The MySpace days and all that, yeah, MC Belly, yeah. So then from there, we're going up, the S Unit's gone and we're doing Quake. There's a regular thing down at the Boulevard, down in Ealing. We're down residents doing that. We're going for a
What did S Unit stand for?
Specialist Unit. The Specialist Unit. That's what we was calling ourselves, yeah? They wanted to call it the Untouchables and this. It was like, you had the Uncontrollables. Specialist Unit, that's what we ended up with. Got the merch, done it all up. And to be honest with you, I had a really good time with the lads. I really enjoyed myself. We was going about, like I said, we was going down, we was playing out here, there. We was lucky to be getting our petrol fee at this time. Do you know what I mean? We was going around trying to earn our stripes. You got to think, I'm going from 2005 as an MC to 2010, 2011. By 2011, I've done the whole 3-4 years at Breaking Science now in room 3. Gone from the bottom of room 3, come up to the top of room 3, then into room 2, gone from the bottom of room 2 to the top of room 2. Next thing, comes to the main arena, it's North versus South. Every MC in North, every MC versus South. Then you got Bellyman and Rob Blaze, main arena, Breaking Science. I'm gassed, but I'm not gassed because I'm like, why has he singled my MC name out here? Clayton, I'm like, why you singled my name out here? So anyway, he's like, Next thing, I've turned up to the dance and he's like, yeah, Belly, come in, man. I was like, what's up, bro? He's gone, bruv, why'd you call yourself Bellyman? I can't be putting Belly on the flyer. He's telling me on the book, in the little room, the ticket box room thing. I'm like, I'm just about to step on stage, bruv. You're crushing me here, like, what are you doing? He's like, bruv, we'll have to talk afterwards about the name and putting you. He goes, I'm willing to put you on the main flyers and all that. He goes, but we got to sort something out of the name, Belly. You know what I mean? And I was hurt, bro. I just, all right, cool, Clay, and safe, bro. You know what I mean? I was just got out, done my set of Rob Blaze, done the next hits, me and Magistrate and that. And that's kind of like a point. And do I change my name now? Do I not change my name? And I just left it for now. You know what? I'm sticking to my. I've built all this over the years. Like I've got.
But how did the name Bellyman come about?
I tell you what, the Bellyman.
Or Belly.
Belly originally. I was sitting there on MSN. You know, you're chatting there on the Messenger. We're going back to 2004, like I said, 2005. And I just stopped smoking. I was blazing hard, blazing out, and I was like, I've got to stop this smoking, stop the smoking. And I was like a twig. At that time, I was like, 12 stones, whatever I was. And I stopped the smoking, give it a couple of months down the line. Next thing, stopped the smoke, started eating, started munching up the place. And I was sitting there, bit of a pot belly coming along, sitting there typing along one night on MSN, and I'm like, yeah, I've got to come up. This DJ Tomo thing's dead now, like, you know what I mean? I need this MC name. What am I going to come up with as an MC name? And I'm talking away to my pal. And kind of like looked down, whatever. I said, yeah, imagine I call myself Belly. Yeah, laugh out loud or whatever. He goes, bruv, that's a sick name, you know. I was like, nah, I'm joking, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Carried it on. The next thing is just, that was it, the seed was planted. I was like, Belly, let me check Google. Done the Google search, nothing there going on. I think this could work, you know, all these, and it just stuck, man. It was just one of them things that just stuck.
And then how did Man come along?
The Man come along because, what happened? Why did it switch to Man? I think it was a URL, bruv. I think someone took all my URLs or something one time. I was like, oh, fuck, I've got to change it. It's got to be Bellyman. Actually, this Bellyman works as well. No, fuck it. It just changed. Bellyman, and it sits better, innit? I thought Bellyman's better than Belly.
Yeah.
So that happened must have been about 2008.
So you were still writing lyrics or learning lyrics, or you would listen to get influence from other artists?
So from 2005 to 2011, I reckon was my most writing, but like most, not saying my best, but throughout them years I was so hungry, I was writing. And looking back on it, 50-60% of it was just garbage. It was writing and trying to learn and perfect what I was doing. There's no book to this, is there? There's no way.
You've got to find your way.
You've got to find your way.
Yeah.
So when I look back and I see myself back as an artist back then, and I do, and I've had a few listens to CDs and, back of the CD packs and that was on. You could hear the fire, you could hear the passion, and I was a good MC. But I was no way in the same league as what I am as an MC today. And that's for obvious reason of keep writing and keep learning your perfection, your skills, and keep the car bars. The car bars got me so on point with writing and learning because I knew I couldn't keep coming out there doing more videos, putting the same lyrics in there, and I'm out in the open. It's like, oh yeah, Belly, you're dead, bro. That's rubbish. You know what I mean? It's come on, man. You're doing the same thing all the time, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that really, really helped me. And I think like 2011 is where I sort of looked at it and thought, right, what direction am I going to go in with this? Like the boys kind of doing their thing, they're playing a sound that I'm not really feeling. I was more the jump uppy sort of sound. They're playing more of a liquidy sort of sound now, going that way. And we sort of do our own thing. Frenzy goes off and starts doing his thing. The boys go off and do their thing. And I'm sort of like, okay, well, where do I go now? What do I do? Yeah? What do I where do I go with this?
Where do you fit?
Yeah, where do I fit? So then I remember early days going up rough tempo and, doing other little bits here, just trying to get myself, just doing my normal thing, MCing, just writing, blah, 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 but still a little bit lost into where I'm going with it. And then I got sick. I think it was 2013, July, I got really sick. I got bad blood clots. And I got rushed into hospital. I was in hospital for a good little, for a few weeks now. done a few operations on me and that. And, you know, and lucky enough, I was all right. But it was a bit touch and go.
Well, we had a conversation because I was ill about the same time.
That's right, yeah.
And I think we connected again on talking about what had gone on, because it was all to do with the heart and the bloods. And I think that's when you have the realisation of family.
Yeah.
Of what's important to you.
Correct.
Of how you want to make your life less stressful and live a good life.
Yeah.
And do the things that you love. And actually you start thinking, I don't actually, you know, that kind of question, I'm going to ask for what I want. Actually, I only need to ask the question what I need.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's when that whole change happened, and that must have been a massive change. I wanted to ask you, at what point did you believe in yourself and realise that you was now an MC and not a DJ, and that you actually, was that before you had your episode with your health or after?
Oh no, you got to think that from 2005 up until 2011. I've broke boundaries now. Like I said, I've gone. My 2006, I'm playing straight away with Chase and Status in Shepherd's Bush Empire. Yeah, that's a big set. Them boys are on the rise now. You know, they're blowing up. I think they're more than a lot albums coming out like the next couple of years. They're making moves. Following year, I'm sort of on tour with them in Sussex. I think it was for Jack, and then I'm in the Cube in Southampton.
So you'd made a name for yourself.
Yeah,
you were on the circuit.
I was an MC. I'm doing my thing. There's some followers I've got. Stefan from Camden, big up Stefan. There's a few heads I can mention who've been there from day dot, who remind me of things that I forget about. I'm like, oh yeah, bro, I knew that you've been following me from like the early origin days, the early life. Do you know what I mean? So by that stage, up until then, I know I was an MC, but I think at 2011, I'm going to be really honest with you, and everyone that's watching, and I think a lot of artists go through this. At 2011, I was on the fence, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I even annoyed at myself thinking about it, because I remember the feeling. I was like, am I doing this for the love anymore? Am I doing this for the money? Why am I, do you know what I mean? Asking myself these questions. And where do I want to go with this?
I think also it's a confidence thing, because the people don't see how much energy it takes to maintain your place within what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure, especially even on the youngsters. If they're not playing out, it's different now.
Yeah.
But for us, you had to be on the fly. You needed to be out there. If your name's not on the fly, it's like, why aren't they booking me? All of those things.
There were
would come
so
into
many
play.
things at that time. So you just reminded me there of all the different stages of how the scene run. Like there were different times. At that specific time, that we go back to 2010, 2011. I was getting really annoyed because I was smashing these rooms up. People were knowing who I was, but these other heads were getting my spots because they were selling 150 tickets. And it was like, I was just getting so annoyed that there was these different men who just couldn't spit for shit or do you know what I mean? And it was just like, I started writing bars about it, and all that. I was like, you know what? I'm getting this negative side. I'm hating the scene. I'm not getting anywhere where I should be getting from it. Like, do I really want to be doing this? And it was that point that I had that turn of the negative. Do you know what I mean? It was like, they don't want to bring me in. They don't want to do this. You know, and I kind of just started falling out of love with it a little bit. And that's what I say. It was like, it was then I got sick. I remember I was back up and down GPS, and that was going up and down to radio GPS, you know, Moose's son. And he was sort of like giving me a little bit of push at that time. I remember like I weren't really feeling it. He was smashing it. And he's like, come on, bruv. Like, And then I got sick, 2013. I remember I was in that bed. I remember I was like in the hospital bed. And the things that were going through my head, you know, like, because there was this point in it where the doctor said to me, look, you might not make it back out of this operation. You'll have to say goodbye to your family. And I was like, I remember it. Like,
How old was you then?
This is 2013, so I'm 33. So I'm like, really? Like, I'm sweat. I got my mum crying. I got my stepdad around there crying. Everyone's crying around this bed. I'm going into this operation. And I remember, like, sitting there thinking to myself, like, I remember saying to my wife there, I was like, just make sure my kids are good. Make sure my kids are good. You got everything. You know where this. You got that. You know what I mean? I'm just pointing out my whole life. And I remember thinking to myself then, like, you know, how much have I done in life? What have I done? Am I happy with my life? You know, like, I was happy, but I felt like I could do more. You know what I mean? That was the sort of feeling. It was like, maybe I could do more. If I had another chance, like, maybe I could do more. And you know, thank the Lord in heaven, because I did get another chance.
Come on.
And I come out
I'm
of there.
feeling emotional, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
no,
it's a
but you know what? It was
when it touches you and you just feel
man.
that.
Because that's what people. That's when people think Bellyman was born. From the time I come out of hospital, 2014, I think me, you, Blade Runner. I think it was me, you, was doing that New Year's Eve. I swear it was 2013, 2014. So I said, if I come out of that place alive, I'm going to get to that New Year's Eve, and as soon as it hits the 2014, I'm going to smoke up a big zoo. Yeah? I don't smoke that, I'm going to spark up one big zoo. If I reach it, if I get to 2014, I remember coming off of the set with you lot, yeah? Coming back out, and I just built up this reefer, and I just... yeah, and that was.
It felt good.
It felt
You
good.
was alive.
I was
You were
back
back.
home. I was back.
Right.
Yeah, I was.
Where
back.
was we?
Yeah,
Where was we?
It was a shindig. A shindig. We was up on this big high thing. Do you not remember? It was like you come about 4 in the morning. You,
so
Blade
terrible.
Runner.
I think we smashed it though, because me and
it was
Blade
sick.
were playing back
back to back. It
And that was
so
when it
sick.
hadn't even really bust yet. It was just coming through.
Blade Runner didn't bust at that stage.
No.
No.
But I was bringing him through.
You were the man that brought him through. You, come on, bro.
Thank you.
I didn't know about any Blade Runner was through you. That was it. And now the big star he is today, you know what I mean? He's...
Well, no, you know what it is? Like you.
His music did it, sorry. His music, but you was the man that helped there.
Well, we kicked down the doors and
Yeah.
we opened the doors. I had a nice conversation with Terry T the other day, Knowledge and Wisdom, and he said, you know what I love about you, Rays? You're not scared to bring man in because you welcome what they've got to offer, and I love the competition because it keeps me young.
Yeah.
You know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm sorry, but you can. Do you know what I mean? Don't be fooled by the beard, you know. If you've just joined us, it's Bellyman, Ray Keith, special guest. Look, we ain't even got to the DJing yet, and I just want to keep talking for another 10, 15 minutes. I hope we can. I hope we can keep going because it's just nice to just have a catch up.
Yeah, man.
But so tell me that 214, we're there. You played, and then what was the outlook after that?
So I've got myself to the stage of from between 2013 to 2014. That end, it was August. I remember coming out. It was my son's birthday, and I was trying to get myself well to come out of hospital for my boy's birthday. I come out and I managed to get out for his birthday. 2 days later, I had to go back in. I was sick, but you know, one of them ones.
Of course,
his birthday.
you've put all your
out
energy
there.
into it. You've got to be there.
Yeah. So I did that, and I've come back and got. So at that stage, then from then till around, I reckon early December, I had to learn to walk again because my legs were so swollen. I ended up swelling up to 22 stone. My whole body, my legs, everything was so bad, like with fluid and everything with the clots. That was in a bad way. So I come back out. Between them months, it's like learning to walk again, muscle sort of thing. I'd get up and I'd be all tired out. And it was quite a little tough time. But I remember getting to that stage there, coming out. I remember coming back home that morning and thinking, okay, I'm getting well again. I'm getting well. This is a new year, a new thing. And that was it. I started the Bellyman show. The Bellyman show come out before the live streaming. Yeah, I started the Bellyman show. It just everything from that moment is led me to here, you know, from the car bars, from the drop the knife value life, everything that I've done up until them last, 8 years we're talking about, 2013 till now, has been on that roll, on that move. It's just my mindset must have changed in that hospital bed. That's the way I look at things.
But sometimes I think when you release it and go, it don't matter what they want to do to me, I'm just going to crack on and play my game. Yeah. I don't need to play your game. Yeah. I don't need to watch your lane. Yes. I just need to watch my lane. Yeah. And as soon as you've done that, the vibration changed to you.
Completely.
Because it was all about you.
Yeah, completely, yeah.
And that's when couple of times, like, you come on my feed and I'm like, there he is. And he's smashing it because I look at the numbers and I'm like... But where we started, we were just maybe like, I mean, we always used to get a couple of hundred people anyway, but when we were starting, like at the very, very early days of streaming, that was at the brink of it. Nobody was really doing it.
Do you not remember the first stream that we did?
I can't.
I remember it clearly. So I've come into Radar and I set the stream up, and the boys are like, "What's going on? What's he doing? All right, we'll let him off. He knows what you're telling him. It's all good. It's okay and that." So we got it set up. And next thing, I put it on, and you're having a look at it. And I said, "Look, we're at 100." And he's like, "What? 100 people are watching." Showed it to Kenny. Kenny's like, "All right, 100 different people." I said, "Hold on, there's 250 people watching." Right, hold on. There's 1,000 people watching on here, bro. We got 1,200. It was like we was just like in shock. It was there and then at that second we was like, "This is the way forward." Yeah, we got 1,200 people sitting here watching us right this second. You know what I mean?
What year was that?
I'll tell you when it was. It was 2000. It was after the car bus.
17 or
No, I think it was 2016.
Okay. But
Yeah.
previous to that,
Yeah,
we were
2016.
streaming on
The website.
Origin.
Yes. Yeah.
And we were still getting decent numbers.
Yeah, it was okay.
What was we doing the show on a Thursday?
On a Thursday, yeah.
On a Thursday.
Yeah.
That was our day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Thursday.
It's great to have you on the show, brother.
no, I feel
And
that, man.
if you've just tuned in, it's an honest interview. We're talking about the old days and new days. We haven't even got to the new days yet because we've just been talking, and it's been so interesting. To learn about your life and even certain things that I didn't know about what inspired you. So let's talk about now fast forwarding, because I want to get some music, and I want to do you know what, I was going to stick it on you to put maybe a little a cappella of your first verses that maybe you wrote and became a classic for you, because as an artist, when you're sitting at home and you're listening to the mixes, like me, you know, I'd go to the dance, I'd want to go and listen to Randall, I'd want to go and listen to Ryder, I'd want to go and listen to Frost. Do you see what I'm saying? I'd want to hear what their man are doing, because even as an artist, you need to go and align yourself and make sure that even though it's you're on the right track. What you're doing is correct. Do you see what I'm saying? So listening to all of those artists out there, could you bust us a little a cappella maybe of one of your first early lyrics?
I could do that. I was just thinking there as you were saying something as well about like the old MCs and DJs, like when you're going out, you're looking at the fly and you're really looking forward to seeing these DJs, and I think the DJs get the maximum amount of credit and it's well deserved. But I think as MCs as well, they deserve as much love, because
100%. It's how you work together. You and I. You said something earlier on, and I was like, "Hang on a minute." You said you're more onto the jump up sound, but Bridget, I play a bit of everything, like Nicky, and we gel great because you read me. You can adjust. And what I'm saying to you, as an artist, it doesn't matter whether you're into what your forte is. Yeah, all of the MCs out there, the name brand MCs, they can switch to hosting.
Yes,
and they can switch to the double timing and the, you know what I mean? Like, you've got that, and you've always had to have that, because there's certain places, you know, sometimes the dance is flat. It's not many people. It depends what time you're playing. You've got to adapt.
Yeah, no, I say that, and the reason I say it is because it's like, from personal experience, when I used to go out, I remember looking at the lineups. And the first place I'd go would be to the MCs. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And Nicky's there, blah, blah. It'd be sick. Yeah, but I'd be more excited about listening to the MCs. So I know there's other people out there exactly the same. You're there, you're more listening to the DJs. We've all got preferences. But I think a lot of the time you go into them groups, you know, you see some of these groups that's on the internet, and they're, MCs should be kept away from the scene, this and that. And it's like, we get it. We get that. A lot of people just want to hear the music, and there's that part of the scene. But there's also the people like myself and everyone else out there that's into MCs.
It's got a great
and that.
following and join together. I think everyone's got their preferences. Do you know what I mean? I like to. I've worked with everyone right across the board. Whether you're a liquid MC, whether you're a hosting MC, whether you're a chatty MC, and I've booked artists. Right, I mean, like that 25 years of Dread. That we've done at Brixton. That was nuts. That was every man and his dog was on there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was important to me.
What I'll do is when we do the set, the first lyric you're saying to me to do there,
Yeah,
I do
just spit a
what
little-
I think is probably my most classic bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what you
and we'll see how many people in the chat or whatever are probably tired. I'll see what it is before we say it. But yeah, I'll drop like first
that'd
bar
be
bottom
amazing.
like a
That'd
little
be
classic
amazing.
bar for you on it.
Now then, you drew reference to the name of the shop that you went and run.
Yeah, Dirty Fat Beats.
That's now done, and now your son is now DJing.
He is.
He's
Yeah.
got his first EP.
DJ Innovator. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, smashing it.
And you've done some shows together. You've been
Yeah.
schooling him up.
Yeah,
You've
man.
been helping him with the production.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about, because you're a bad man when it comes to production. I'm putting out one of Bellyman's tunes, which has been a bit long, maybe 4 or 5 years. But I'm telling you, the tune's bad.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying to you: is making music is timeless. I think everybody's got this real kind of urge of. Urgency of I made it yesterday, I've got to get it out tomorrow, otherwise I'm going to be forgotten. What
I think that's drum and bass a lot. That's got not a lot of shelf life. If you're thinking about,
but that's because they're making throwaway.
that's
music.
what I'm saying. Throwaway
Throwaway
yes,
music.
correct,
But what I'm saying is, when I make a tune or I sign a tune, I look at that tune like that's a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
That don't really matter when I'm going to draw that tune, because when I draw that tune, people are going to go, right, is that my man?
a big
Yeah,
tune
and
still,
it stands the test of time.
And it does. That tune does.
And that does.
I was listening to that yesterday.
And he made. Did you really?
Yeah, I was coming out. I was just thinking,
And I just thought to myself, because when you made that tune and you said it to me, it sounds like a dread tune.
Yeah.
Like he made a dread tune. He's like, Ray, I've done this little thing, it sounds like a dread tune. I was like, send it over, and I was like, right, actually it does. And I smashed that tune. Blade does our mastering and DJ hybrid, so bigging up those two, and also bigging up everybody in the feed right now. I know we've been talking for ages, but we're now coming to kind of the new school Bellyman. So we've seen the change. I wanted to talk about the car bars because it like you said, it's almost like everything that you've done has almost been a mistake of like it just came round the corner when you wasn't really looking
fell at
for
my
it.
feet, yeah.
And also
yeah.
it came round the corner like me when you most needed it.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's almost like you surrender and you just say, nah, you know what? And then you just, with your heart and your gut instinct, you just go forward. I mean, that car bars thing, bruv, I don't know why we're not even on TV.
Do you know what? I'm proud of it, man. I'm proud of it. And, every single artist that's come through on it, I have to big up all the DJs, all the MCs. And, it's like my baby sort of thing. It's something that people will say to me, are you going to do another one? Are you going to do this? I kind of look at it like you just say like a piece of artwork. It's like, I don't want to water this thing down. I don't want to kill it off. I don't want to just do another one for the sake of doing another one. What is out there at the moment is class. It's really good. I look at it and I'm like, you know what? That's really nice to leave. We don't live here forever. You know what I mean? We're not here forever, man. So that's what you leave behind. Just see what I'm saying? It's nice to leave something. And all them little bits of things there, it's like people wouldn't believe. Like they must see, I don't know, some MCs maybe different. Of course they're going to be different. But for me, it takes me quite a while to write something and then learn it and kind of get the flow and the style of how I will naturally push that bar out there. It's all right if you're reading something, you're trying to do something now, if I'm doing it here, it will never sound the same as when you've learned it and you've got the flow and do you see what I'm saying?
So it's like learning your lines.
Yes. And it's like the amount of effort and time that goes into it and sitting there and recording and going, it is really time consuming, man. When I first got into the car bars, when I first did it, it was literally putting the phone up on the dashboard, like I said, press record, send onto the internet, and it was up there and it just blew up. People love that natural thing about it. But as it developed, as it started getting more views and edited, started getting more on there, it started to become a thing. It was like a little show, a series. And, I want it to kick off. And I have to say, like, everybody that's shared and everybody that's watched it and loved it and got it, it's shared. I feel the same. My family feel the same. Everybody that watches it and, like when there's a premiere or when it's coming out, it's like, it's good. It's wicked. You know what I mean? We sit there watching it with Skibs and I love it. I really, really love it, man. And I'm looking forward to what I do put out there in the future. Sometimes I just got to judge, is it worth keep doing with the car bars as well? You don't want to kind of, like when you overdo something. When you
How many times do you put this out at the moment?
At the moment, I do it about 4 times a year. I was going to put 2 out this year. I left the Christmas one this year. I've done a Christmas one for the last 5 years. And I've been so focused on getting my son's EP finished. He's got a 6-track EP coming out. And I've been guiding him.
How did he get into jungle drum and bass? And how old is he?
I'll tell you right, he's 19 now, the boy. And he's obviously been influenced a bit from me growing up. And the thing that's really surprising about him is his influence and his music growing up was Beatles and, you know, proper old school 60s, proper rock bands. And as he was growing up, I thought, hey, this man, he's got that kind of a influence. That's what he's into. And then, yeah, I just sort of out of nowhere, he started dropping tunes and mixing and doing these little things. And I was like, hold up, but where's all this come from? Do you know what I mean? It was like, it would just come out of nowhere. One day, mate, I just, he turned from listening to Beatles and listening to all the bot tunes to just started to come in, pick up the tunes, draw for the tunes, started mixing, and I was just in shock. It was just out of nowhere. Like, you know, I did not expect the way he was growing up for him to turn into a DJ producer. I wasn't pushing him. I wasn't putting him down that line. He was doing whatever he wanted to do.
But I think that's not... We were talking off camera before... Blimey, we're still talking. So what? We were talking off camera about how the youths them, without pressing it onto them, they just love it because they're listening to like trap, grime, you know, whatever's going. That's what they grew up with, right? And at the tail end of garage, the tail end of jungle, and then their interpretation. It's like when my daughter's drawing tunes, and she's been only going 2 months, but I give her her first set at E1 a couple of weeks ago, and she played. There was no one on the dance floor. There was no one in the club. But I said, you know what? If you want to learn this thing, learn your stripes, 10 till 11. Let's see what you can do. At the end of her set, the dance floor was jammed. Good. And I was like, and even though she knows how to mix, but didn't want to take that chance, she just was tune selecting and cutting it in, and that's how I started. Because it's a confidence thing. And she looked over at me, and she said to me, you know what, Dad? She said, I feel comfortable up here. And then my nephew was in the dance, who's a big house DJ. His name's Joy Orbison. He went, Ray, she looks like you. She had a little hoodie up. She's just taking her time. And then she looked over and then she went, I think the music's going to save me, Dad. And I went, you know what? The music saved me. Yeah. Because sometimes...
Saved a lot of people music, man.
Listen, if it wasn't for this thing here, I'd...
Where would you be?
Boy, there's a lot of things that would have been negative, but it really has saved my life and saved my soul. And I think the same for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's a lot of distractions. The devil's always sitting on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You always have to lose a lot of people around you sometimes because as you change. And sometimes the friendships that you had 10 years ago are not the same friendships that you have. Yeah. But it's nice to see that your kids want to carry that baton on themselves and earn their stripes. I'm looking forward to this EP, you know.
Yeah, no.
What label's it coming out on?
Dirty Fat Beats, yeah.
So this is what I was saying. The shop name is now going to be, even though that's finished, the legacy carries on.
Which is really good because it got liquidated 2002. And now he's just got back on the board. He's got it all done. He's up with Cygnus. He's got his 6 tracks down. X-Man has been on him for one of the tracks. So, you know, we were talking about him earlier on. Just waiting to see what tune he's coming back on there. Fearless has already done one of the tunes. I've done 2 of the tracks on there for him as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Do you know what? Funny enough, saying it about that, we've done a few little videos. You know, you get they're meme videos. He's got millions of hits on there. People are going mad for the tune. So already he's got a little hype for the production side of things. You know, it's hard to get that spark.
Of course.
And I'm kind of gassed for him. And that's why I say going back to more concentrating at the end of this year of getting his EP out there, getting his music, because that's where the focus is now. It's helping him. Do you understand what I mean? I'll be my MC, I'll do what I'm doing, but it's about passing that baton on now. And I really wish him all the best there with the music, because it's all the years of sitting there trying to make this music, and it's not the easiest thing to do, is it, Ray?
It's not. You gotta give your life to it, you know, and as most of us have done, you know, you can't retrain after doing, you know, like go and get a new job after 40, 50 years of what you put into something. It just it doesn't work.
Well, this COVID showed people that, man. There's a lot of people sitting back thinking, Well, what do we do now? What are we doing now in the industry? Do you know what I mean? I think it hit a lot of people quite hard, man, because that's all they know.
Who would you like to thank? Do you know what? I could speak to you for hours, bruv. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No worries, man.
I want to play some tunes and actually, you know what? You're gonna have to come back, and next time we ain't doing no talking. We're just gonna do me and you for 2 hours. And actually, what I might do is I might get Nikki up here. As well.
Yeah. We'll all have a chat. Yeah.
Who's the people that you want to thank?
You know, there's a few people I got to thank, man. I got to thank yourself. I remember the early days, man. Like you say, you'd open the door for me. Like, I remember Brocky. Brocky's another guy in the scene, influence. I remember one time giving out CDs back in the day. You know what it was like outside the dance. I'm standing outside breaking, and we're giving out the CDs, and I was like, I had enough here. Sort of gone back as I'm on my way out. I see Spar. We've done this mix together. I said, yeah, man, I'm done up there. I said, he's ended up giving Brocky one of the CDs on the way out. Brocky's come up, put a big status up the next day. He's like, yeah, that Bellyman, that Spar smashed it. Old school work, handing out CDs and blah, blah, blah. And I remember like the status of it popping off and all that. And then he got us up Cool FM, and you know, he showed us a bit of love, man, and I was like, we got him down to do the show and that, and then I have to big up Nicky. Nicky's one of the guys that's always been there. Like I said, from me going in the shop, seeing you, Nicky, Clarky, all the boys, and everyone else there, just from a youngster growing up. I'd have to shout Jack, I'd have to shout Grant, Epidemic. He's another guy that used to show me love a lot of the time from the early days. There's a good few heads, man, out there.
I wanted to ask you, what did your mum think about all of this?
Do you know what? I gotta say something. I gotta big up my mum because I'm blessed. No, I'm blessed to have my mum. She's like my number one supporter, right? And it's so nice to have her as a supporter like that, because growing up, she didn't think this was gonna be my life. You know what I mean? She just thought this was noise. This is like
a side thing. He's going for a fade.
Let's get out of the house, man. You're doing my head in. This is my. You know what I mean? It was
my mum, bless her, R.I.P. God rest her soul. She was my number one fan. And it was only, Bridget, it was only when I went round her yard and she'd passed away and I saw my CDs laid next to the stack system in order of release.
You see
and
what
then
I'm
when
saying?
I looked at that, bruv, because you're in the fast lane. Mum, I'm here, there. Where are you now? I'm in America. What are you doing? And I'll be back next weekend. And then when you actually take that moment and you come back and you go, and that time was gone. It was too late.
I know. It's too.
You see what I'm saying? So I give thanks.
Nah, same.
What?
Man. Nah, exactly that.
So she's your number one fan.
Number one fan, man. I guarantee she's watching now. She always watches the
What's
show.
her name?
Olivia,
Mumsy Olivia. Lots of love and respect for bringing this young man into the team, and he's amazing. Like this is what I'm saying.
Thank you, man.
That you're one of the individuals, and you changed the landscape, you changed the soundscape. Because I've rung you before and asked you, who's these kids are making these tunes and blah blah blah, and you're in it. You're not just, and that's the good thing about it is. Most people that love what they do, they study the music and they study their art form to make it all join together, as all the professionals do. You have to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Anyone else?
I have to big up my influences. Rest in peace, Stevie. You know, like I have to big up X-Man again, because again, he's a big part of why I'm here, doing what I do. Who could I say, man? I don't really like to forget anybody, to be honest with you, man. Big up everybody that's helped me along the ways, man. Big up everybody. There's been a lot of people helping. It ain't always self-done. You know what I mean? 100%. It's not. It's one of them things, like, you look back over time, a lot of people tend to forget what people do for them. They all think it's done off their own back. If it weren't for these people, I wouldn't be here now. And that's where you have to stay humble with people. It's like, it's that kind of thing in life, you know. I see it quite often. People do get above themselves and get a little bit ego, a little bit, and it don't suit people, does it, man? You know what I mean? So, big up every single person that's helped me along the way. If I haven't said your name, I do apologise. Big up Raven from back in the day. Raven helped me right out, getting on Origin. Big up Mo Easy M for Origin, Mr. T as well, original guy from back 100%. Then.
100%. Thank you for the platform. I just wanted to say...
And Paul Roast and Mel Roast. I can't forget Paul and Mel.
Paul Roast. Bigging up Paul Roast. Another unsung hero doing his thing. That Life FM thing has been a lifeline for a lot of people and youngsters coming true. The last thing I wanted to touch on which I really should have touched on a little while ago, but we've been speaking for an hour and a half. I can't believe it. How do you deal with lockdown?
You know what? Lockdown for me, I think, I can't speak for no one else. I think we've all been a bit troubled in some way or another. I've dealt with lockdown well enough because I've got my social media, I've got my things I have to do every day, I still got my work, I still got projects that I've got to get on with, and I still do the Bellyman show, so I'm still busy. But even though still I'm busy and I'm still doing my thing, mentally it has affected me in certain ways. Like, you know, there's no way I'm as active as I was go back 2 years ago, as in just general going around. You know what I mean? I just feel like I want the world to start back up again. I want to just get back out and back to the way things were 2 years previous. I'm almost like, come on, you know what I don't want.
It's like trying to kickstart a motorbike,
yeah,
and it starts to go for a little bit, and then it comes.
Yeah, you can see it in the way.
You want to get that flow, but I really do think now that we're coming to a point where it feels like there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, there is, and I'm going to say this. Look, before we go on it, I'll make this is the best way to put it to you. Come the end of 2019, my boy wasn't so well. And we've come out of hospital and we've got home and we're blessed to be at home. It's Christmas and all I want to be is with my family, and that's the place I need to be. So I'm at home at that stage. Next thing, come March, I'm doing a couple gigs up and towards March. The lockdown comes in. And when lockdown comes in, it was almost like God, and I'm not, I know there's people, but it was almost like God shined a light on me and was like, for the next year and a half or so, you're just going to be there with your boy. Yeah?
Everything happens for a
everything. Yeah, I know, and I'm not saying that happened for me or anything like that, but it was just, I could deal with that first year. It was like, that was the place I wanted to be. I wanted to be at home with my boy, with my family, it was just perfect for me. You know, as what I was just saying there, for the last year or so, it's like, okay, are we going back? Are we not? Are we going? And it sort of mentally starts troubling you. Do you know what I mean? So, in one sense, at the start of lockdown, going back there, it was actually a blessing for me. For me and my family, that's where I needed to be. That's where I wanted to be. And, you know, so for that side of it, you know, it was actual, I take the good out of it, not the bad.
100%. I think for a lot of us that had been on the road since we were 16, and when you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going, it was a godsend that actually you could have a reset. Yeah. And you could start looking at your priorities because you had to deal with things. There wasn't X amount of money coming in. You had to look at what you had, not what you wanted. Yes. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And also, like you said, priorities changed. I loved it. I was at home cooking for my kids. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like doing the stuff that you don't get to do when you're out on road because you're just like 5 minutes, I'm coming back to you in 5 minutes, and you're taking a phone call, and then suddenly all of that just stops, and it's like, okay, cool. And actually, when we've come back out of lockdown, it's kind of like more on your own terms rather than it being on how it was. Do you see what I'm saying? You kind of learned how to adjust. Do you know what, Bridget? It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I know you're like me. You've lit up bare people and given people chances. I love what you've done for the scene. I wish it was This Is Your Life and I could give you a blue book or a red book or something, and all your family's waiting around the corner. You never know, no blood, that could come. I'm working on some things right now. We're independent. This is the blueprint. We shine a light on people that have made huge and massive, milestones. I mean, you're a game changer, brother, and I'm not just saying that, but that what you've done, and what you've helped other people with, and what you've done with Harry Shotter and Skipper and Shabba and
just one more thing. When it come to the thanks and all that, there, I have to big up all the MCs as well, because there's one project I'm really proud with that we briefly spoke about. That I really, really give thanks to every artist that took part in it, was the hashtag Drop the Knife Value Life. That was started, and the reason that come along in the first place was because Jason Isaacs was killed in Norfolk. I think it was 2018, and he was killed just right by my mum's, right in Norfolk, right near my mum's, and his dad and mum used to come down to the spot where he was stabbed, and it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. And I remember coming out, talking with him and speaking with him and saying, look, and it was the second lad up my mum's road in the space of 6 months that was killed. And I was thinking, look, I've got a bit of a platform here. I've got a bit of a something. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can try and do to sort of make an awareness? Anything? I know I ain't going to stop. Is there anything? And that was it. That was the idea. That was how it come about. Fearless was with me. It's me, Fearless.
Big up Fearless.
Big up Fearless there as well. And it come apart. And so many MCs at that stage there come in and got involved, and it was such a big movement at that time, and I was so proud. I was getting up every day. My mum was on the phone. Another 3 videos are coming. Oh, can you believe this? And I'd watch it, and you'd see how much it's affecting people and how much people wanted to be involved with this and try and get their message across. And when I look back on my memories and I see these MCs, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of what we achieved as a unit there, as people, because even if it did just stop one kid from thinking, you know what, I ain't going to bring the knife out. But if it just stopped one person, we always hear that same 100%. Sort of thing, but it was all worth it.
I think with the government closing down youth centres and safe places to go, and the youths them are on the postcode thing and this, that and the other, there needs to be education and there needs to be safe places. And also, if they could go to a youth place where you could learn a bit of boxing, a little bit of drama, a little bit of how to DJ. They only need to call upon us and we'd be there in a minute.
Yeah.
But maybe that's something that we can talk about and start to organise, because it's not getting any better out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with this, and also, with the kids as well, with what's going on. I deal with social media like you. I'll go on, I'll post, I'll come off, and I'm not interested in hoo-ha. If you like it, I'm happy.
That's
if you don't, let's try again. Yeah. I'm not, we don't tear down, we build.
No.
And that's what it's about. All creeds, all colours, all genders. Do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure. I don't even want to play no music. I want to keep talking to you, but I want to.
Let's give them something.
I want to give them a little something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they deserve a little something. And definitely. # drop the knife and value your life. Bigging up Brocky, I know, because he's been on that. Bigging up also Arsenal. I watched them the other day with Ian Wright and also Idris Elba, and Arsenal were dressed all in white that day, so it was like, no blood on and trying to get it through to those youths. Don't go out, stay in your yard, be comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Think about what you're doing. 100%.
It's the families as well. It's like, I think, like, it's all right, the youths having their problem and dealing with their problems, thinking this and that, whatever it is. It's the families that get left behind. It's that have to deal with it. The mums, the dads, the brothers, the sisters. You're not just ruining the persons that are killing off. It's what they're leaving behind, man. It's
the
ruining,
after effects.
Yeah, it's the after effects, man. And it's deep to everybody, and it's just got to stop, man. I know our talk ain't gonna stop it, but
at least it's raising awareness.
At least it's raising awareness.
Well, that's what we're here about. Yeah. So bigging up everybody that's tuned in today. It's been absolutely banging. I can't tell you, I was so excited that I was like, because like I said, you really helped me in the early days, and people wouldn't even know that. They're just thinking, Ray's doing best strings. And I'm thinking, well, but it all came from the combination that we had.
Yeah.
And that's got to be more than 10 years ago, blood.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you're going back on history there, man, I remember coming back in the shop 93 and all that. I don't know what times you were in there, but I remember the growth of the shop, the changes of the shop. So I've been there from this side.
Day one,
you started recognising me later on in life. We had our link and crossover.
Because I was only there in the end. I've managed to do 3 days a week, and then one of those days, I'm sure I was cutting plates at Music House, where Nicky was holding the fort and they were doing what they were doing. But it's been an absolute pleasure, brother. Seriously, like, wow.
Big up,
you know what I mean? And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're
son.
Listen, we're going to get your son on, maybe on the next stream, and do a little, let him have a little
wicked,
play,
man.
and then come and do the thing. Right, we need a mic, and let me start. Hey, look, everybody, I'm a lot higher today. Look, he's got a mic already prepared.
Oh, you got it. Sweet, yes. Thank you.
Do you know what? I think we're just going to have to go straight in, ain't we?
Yeah, man.
Let's have a look.
Well, check. Up in the place right now, DJ Ray Keith. Myself, the Bellyman. Thames Delta Radio right now. The Blueprint. Back again. You know it. Rolling out right now. Nice and early, 2:37. Taking you back. Big shout out to my mum right now if you're locked in. Out to my lovely wife, out to my son, the innovator. Out to Nico. Out to all Ray's family right now locked in. Yeah. Hit that share button right now. Let's get them numbers up. Let me give you a little 20 minutes or so. To Dave Lloyd, out to Kevin, out to Ashley, out to all my Birmingham gang that's locked in. Outside the London gang, all the Kent crew. Big up to Reiki, thanks for having us down here today, man. Out to taking it back to all the junglists, all the original gang right now. Yeah, that's me. The bass too dark. Bassman MC. What in a corner? Trigger MC. What would they represent? That's the SDC. Bussy. Storming RIP. That's Skibberly. You might get punched in the face. Shot on MC. Big fat salami. One shabadi. Black turban. Shala. Spider MC. Semi-automatic. One line XC. I'm giving you the jungle. That's that MC. Boom, 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 fearless MC. There's a fire in the hole. One night Foxy. I'll get him up, GQ MC. I'm gonna move your body plenty. R.I.P. for the Siva Ipandi. Come on. Ray Keith in the place right now. Thames Delta Radio. Rolling on. No rest for the wicked. Oh gosh. Let's do it. It's been on hot minutes since we've been up in the wind. Setting the levels, the belly way I was fully equipped. See us last time in the whip, it was sick. Flipping the script, it was lit. This time we're going for 1 million video hits. Hard spitters, natural bar killers. When we spit the lyrics, our lyrics are be the illest. Dropping, freezing cold, we are the realest. Lyrical style and poetry with no limits. Back in the whip and flipping it, now we're going writing. Ray and the Bellyman, time to start writing. I know you're watching, you don't know it's exciting. Big up everybody locked in, who's supporting. Time to catch a vibe, it's time to do it proper. Remember Christmas Day, Skibberly and Harry Shotter. The writers, the rhymers, the energizers. When it comes to spitting the bars, we are the finest. Live right now, it's the Blueprint, baby. Let's get this shit up. All the gang locked in. Right, that's it. Shout out right now. Out to all the gang that's locked in. We got Ashley, we got Don, out to Vicky, out to Darren, Steve. All the gang that's locked in right now. Don't know why the first one didn't come up. We're all locked in live right now. DJ Ray Keith, myself, Bellyman, live on the Blueprint. Out to all the gang that's locked in. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. What that's all? Big mistake, disrespect, drum and bass, that's all. Big mistake if you don't come correct, that's all. Big mistake, that's all. Big mistake, that's all. Big mistake, I'll give it the real deal. Give it the top spill, give it the real feel. I'm dropping the bars deal. I'm here like hard steel. Nobody stands still. Check out the real skill. This shit is unreal. One shot, shoot, kill. Sick and tired of all the my blaggers working, leave me something beggars. What the hell is wrong with these brothers? Back about, I mean, are they bunkers? Can I better rhyme? Can I better flow? Can I better side? Can I better blow? Can I better high? Can I better combo? Can I better vibe? Ray, let them know. DJ Ray Keith. Live right now. Feel the sub low. Let's go. Oi. Real good vibes right now, Ray. Wicked style. What push it, better push it harder. It's DJ Ray Keith going darker. What push it, better push it harder. My DJ, yes, selector. Hold on. Ha. Tick, 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 tock, boom. Tick, tick, tock. When I better move to the beat, not stop. Wait for the better bass, wait for the drop. Coming in old school, cream in the crop. On the belly, but I don't flop. On the boom, on the way to the top. Spin the bars, I made the body rock. Not stop working around the clock. Cold like snow, hit them hard with a lyrical flow. Spin them up like a tornado. Direct heat like torpedo. Ray Keith on the Blueprint Show. Ha! Come with it. Come with it. Ray Keith, whenever the mix, whenever the crossfader, what Ray Keith, the battle selector, whenever the mind again, the mic bar, whenever the mix, whenever the crossfader, danger, we bring the fire. That's everybody locked in, we got all the youngers, all the oldest in the game right now. You know, we'll drop the night, back you light, and that with the hype. We'll drop the night, back you light, and that with the hype. Thames Delta, the Blueprint, Bellyman live up inside. Let's go! Kill him off, why? We'll drop the night, value life, allow with the hype. You got them kids killing kids, I say you know this ain't right. It's time to come together, time to unite. Take them out of the dark, oh show them the light. Drop the night, value life, allow with the hype. Kids killing kids, I say you know this ain't right. It's time to come together, time to unite. Take them out of the dark, oh show them the light. I'll educate that young, I mean some real education. This is real life shit, this This ain't no PlayStation. Street life, streetwise, real situations. Using my skill to teach the next generation. Yeah, there's money on the street. Everybody has to eat, but it's a man worth dying for a 10 bag of weed. I see a man die for less. Get stabbed in his chest. For a fight, come back. He got laid out to rest. This is real life, real life, real life shit. I'm talking real life, real life, real life shit. I give it that real life, real life, real life shit. When it comes to Reiki, we give it that real life shit. We're not playing around right now. We're doing it proper. Education starts at home. I ain't joking. No point blaming governments or sitting back, hoping kids bullying kids, online trolling. Out on the street, they're feeling drugs just rolling. Absolutely wicked right now. To wait, saying you to listen to your shows all the time. Doing the Bellyman show, you lot was so funny, giving me jokes. And so you big it up. Watch out, watch out. Drum and bass junglist. Dark and dirty, nasty and grimy. Vibes in the place, so you know we come. It's like it's DJ Ray, keep it that DJ Ray, keep it the DJ Ray, keep.
Show me what you got.
What 2 minute man on the toilet talk, I don't see many man on the board, talking cheap in away and buying, so much dancing too much lying. 2 minute man on the go on heavy, watch your son, don't mess with the belly, try to be your best to get ready, last with the gun, and hey listen. Dirty.
Now, show me what you got.
What 2 minute man wanna chat shit, trust me, no minute man on the back is like it, chat shit, get man whacking, damn it, crystal bubbling, champagne splashing, everybody's on that packet, racket, come on, back to back, we gon' smack it. You know what's good, what's happening, straight to the point, you know what's cracking. Out to the gang right now, early doors. Out to my worldwide crew.
Show me what you got.
Let me tell you about Tyrene. They're from the ends, hot chick shots, Cali green. Very fit body, pretty face, fresh, very clean. I'm a glass figure like a listed on magazine. One with the DJ Reiki. Hey! Watch this, watch this.
Now.
When I'm from big DJ, who they call that Reiki. A number one DJ, that is the NBC. The Hazard, the Hype, the one Ryan G. The Nicky Black Market, the Zinc and Rocky. They run their size Randall and Nicky Finn. Now when they in the dance and everybody's raving. And if they're not moving, head is bouncing to the drum and bass music. It's amazing, Reiki. Oi! Outside the game, we got the Fabio. Outside the groove rider, we got Charlotte the baby. Oi! Company. What's a sound? What's a sound? Listen, I read up on the cheddar. My action on the go redder. A piece I ain't no beggar. Talk boy, you ain't no better. When the man that do face proper. Straight over, ain't no knocker. My blower. It's like I'm running out of time. Boss, to meet the deadline. So many bars come out my mind mature. Just like a fine wine. You know, we're doing DJ Ray Keith and Bellyman live right now. Thames Delta. Radio is the Blueprint Show, baby. you wake up, get a little bit wiser. I nearly lost my life, but I'm back, I'm a fighter. Back on that drum and bass to get that crowd hyper. Back in the day, I see you raise up your lighter. Nowadays, it's my bum phones that shine brighter. R.I.P. to the one Stevie hyper. Jungle soldier, originator, best MC ever. You hit the teacher, positive vibe and energy around. So I can't get the habit. No, I can't get the habit. Well, I can't get the habit. Can't get the habit. I'm a drum and bass ready. Check it, what's happening? Outside here, big up to you, big up Kirby, big up to all the gang. Oi! Yup, DJ! Dread style! Wicked vibes right now! What? Yeah. That's right. It's right, King. Yeah. That's right. Don't forget, get liking the page as well. Show some support right now. Thames Delta Radio. Tuesday 1 till 3 business. Loving it up. Open the mix. That's all the locked-in gang right now. Don't forget, put your locations. Outside Jenny. We got Joshua. Out to Ian. Out to Terry. Out to my crew in Ireland that's locked in. Oi! I can't believe it. Less than 5 minutes left of the show, man. Already. It goes too quick. It's been absolutely wicked coming down here today, catching up a rave. Really enjoyed the interview there. Big it up, man. You know I feed the weed fever. Now we get them darker. Where's the bag of weed? That's how we call them marijuana. Got the way we do, and the band they call it Shiva. Number one hash, I said the one isolator. Miss DJ Terror, Galamera Terror. AK-47, we just grow it in a cellar. Then you chop it down, you put it in a Rizla. When you burn it down, so you end up in a mixture. Got that new purple power. I'm a versativa. The kind of weed I see you burn up in a pipe. When you take it down, make you feel right. My favorite with it outside Northern Light. You got that Buddha sister, Willie Jack Brainer, Island Sweet Skunk, California in the car with the real McCoy cheese, and Sensei Star, then Lick Silver Haze, Hawaiian Sativa. To the Blazers, you know. Let's do it, let's do it. You know what it's about. Last tune right now. Ray Keith Bellyman. Thames Delta Radio. The Blueprint. Oi! Last track right now. Right, let's give it one more bar before we go. Listen up, that last one for the Bellyman. It's like, nah, bruv, I don't want no Charlie. I come to party past that Bob Marley. I like that sexy girl just like Barbie. Grab me a drink, please, Coke and Bacardi. Nah, bruv, I don't want no K. That's not for raving, put that away. You look like a zombie, you can't stand straight. Come off the packet, stay away from the K. That's what it's all about. Positive message out there right now. Stay positive, stay focused. Stay in your own lane. Don't watch other people, trust me. Keep smiling. Life ain't always easy, trust me on that. But keep pushing forward. Big love to all the gang right now. Bellyman signing out. Big love to Ray Keith. Thank you so much for having me. Out to all the Thames Delta gang, thank you. Big respect to you, yeah, outside you. Out to the Total Hypnosis crew. Out to Chris Gray, outside Damien. Out to Stephen Kibley. Out to Yvonne, out to Jenny. Out to Anthony Rivers, out to Harbert. We got Terry. All the gang that's been locked in. Thank you so much. Until the next time, big yourself up. One love.
For more information, go to www.thamesdeltaradio.com. Find us on Facebook or subscribe onto YouTube.
Thames Delta!
This station is for the people. You understand? This is a people's thing. It's a community thing. It's our thing. So let us support this thing.
Thames Delta Radio.
Yeah.
What radio station shall I listen to? Oh, Thames Delta.
Thames Delta Radio. Ready for run some rhythm selector.
Are you ready, crowd of people? This is Thames Delta Radio.
This is Thames Delta Community Radio, live from Grey's Thurrock.
Live and direct at Thames Delta Radio.
Thames Delta Radio.
Enough respect every time. Reaching out to all the listeners out there. Thames Delta Radio. Thames Delta Radio, live and direct.